It's time that we put out the fire. With every breath I breathe you out. We just can't take it any higher. It's only fair we let each other go without. Oh, this is hard to admit. I don't long for your kiss, and I know you don't care. Oh, what we had was a bliss, but it's falling to bits. Falling, this is it. Our time is up. We both know it should not to hurt this much. I don't want it to say it, but we lost touch. Time to give up. Maybe we just wanted it to hurt too much. I don't want it to say it, but we lost touch. My heart can't take it any longer. This careless love is getting old. Let's face it, we're not getting younger. If all is said and done, it's time we let it go. Oh, this is hard to admit. I don't long for your kiss, and I know you don't care. What we had was a bliss, but it's falling to bits. Falling, this is it. Our time is up. We both know it should not to hurt this much. I don't want it to say it, but we lost touch. Time to give up. Maybe we just wanted it to hurt too much. I don't want it to say it, but we lost touch. So much for this love. Time to give it up. So much for this love. Wanted it too much, yeah, we wanted it too much. Our time is up. We both know it should not to hurt this much. I don't want it to say it, but we lost touch. Time to give up. Maybe we just wanted it to hurt too much. I don't want it to say it, but we lost touch. So much for this love. Time to give it up. So much for this love. Wanted it too much, yeah, we wanted it too much. You know that I'ma keep it cool. With you I feel like breaking rules. On the edge, looking out with no parachute. You know I'm dreaming about us two, playing around without a clue. On the edge, leaning out. With us it's all or nothing. Oh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's all or nothing, but guess I need more of you. You say it during night, but in the morning you're asleep. With us it's all or nothing. Oh, but guess I need more of you. With us it's it's all or nothing. Can't take my eyes off, can't take my eyes off, can't take my eyes off, can't take my eyes off. You got this motion, dancing slow motion. My eyes can't help looking at you right now. So much emotion, just pick your poison. Is every move you make even allowed? Can't get enough. I try my best to look away, but I can't stop. Am I a freak to you? We almost touch. I feel your body move my way, you're close enough. So I say, can't take my eyes on you. You are all I see. Can't take my eyes on you. You know what I mean. Can't take my eyes on you. You are all I see. Can't take my eyes on you. Take my eyes on you. Yeah. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off you. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes.
I gotta tell you guys, you're in for a real treat today. I got some serious stuff coming for you guys. Just be ready.
Inside of a dream, you're getting closer. Night's almost over. I might just ask you to leave now with me. Can't get enough. I try my best to look away, but I can't stop. Am I a freak to you? We almost touch. I feel your body move my way, you're close enough. So I say, can't take my eyes on you. You are all I see. Can't take my eyes on you. You know what I mean. Can't take my eyes on you. You are all I see. Can't take my eyes on you. Take my eyes on you. Yeah. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off you. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes off. Can't take my eyes on you. You are all I see. Can't take my eyes on you. You know what I mean. Can't take my eyes on you. You are all I see. Can't take my eyes on you. Take my eyes on you. Yeah. Can't take my eyes off. 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 Can't take my eyes
Welcome, 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 you guys. We're going to be getting started soon, but I got to tell you, you do not want to miss something I'm going to show you. I'm going to go way, way, way back, and I'm going to share with you something that I'm even embarrassed to share, but it is funny. So you're going to see some vintage Mel today. So stick around.
I'm done with playing nice. Now look me in the eyes. Tell me what you see inside. Not gonna ask you twice. Not looking for your lies. Tell me, do you wanna go?
my friends, my friends, my friends. Okay, so I am super stoked about today's stream. First of all, thank you. If you were ready to tune in an hour ago, my apologies. I don't know why. I think I said it wrong. I said it for 1. It was supposed to be set for 2. Literally, I wasn't ready at 1 o'clock. So apologies. I had to reset it. I had to reset the stream time. But that's actually one of the awesome things about using the platform that I'm using, StreamYard, because it lets you do things like that. You can literally change your mind or edit something, and it's all good. So hello, everybody. Welcome to today's stream. This is actually a special stream. So normally I go live on Tuesdays at 2 o'clock Eastern time. But today I had to do it a little different this week because, first of all, my Tuesday was kind of crazy, but I also had a crazy cold. I was still going to come live and talk to you guys, but it's all good. But today, it's Thursday. It's kind of a new day. It's kind of fun to do it different. We got all kinds of people watching us. Let me know if you were here watching in the comments. I know we got our friend James. James is legit. Dang it, CK. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you all the time, right? Let me get, you know why? It's because I'm on the wrong scene. Thank you, CK. Always looking out for me, letting me know. It's like a tattoo on my forehead. See, at least CK spoke up, right? I appreciate that. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, James is about to go into Guitar Center. We know he's about to go buy some audio equipment. Who knows? I know James just got the new ZV-10 Sony camera and he's in love with it. So my gear buddy for sure. So let me know if we're all good. Everything looks good now. Got the OBS thing fixed. Well, it's not fixed. If you were tuning in, if you've been kind of hanging out for a while, you know that I like to kind of play around with different technologies and everything. But I also got into a pickle. Which, where does that phrase come from, by the way? Does anyone know where that phrase comes from? If you know, I'd like to know if you know. But literally, oh, good. First time watcher. We got one of my group members is here for the first time. So if you are watching in the group, make sure you click. There's a link up in the description of this stream that actually is going to, if you click on that, it's going to take you through a little authentication process that allows StreamYard to see your face and your name, which then I can display your face and your name when your comments come through. But it's okay if you don't do that either. It's all good. But super excited that you're here watching with us today. It's all good. CK's getting the ZV-10. She's getting the ZV-10. Yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm holding out. I don't know. I'm holding out. I'm using my Sony a6100. I still love this camera. However, back to what I was saying, if you've been following for a while, I've been running into some issues where I was getting this really weird, wonky kind of picture. It's still not fixed. I just know how to avoid it. At least I think I do. I'm telling myself I do. So we're avoiding it today. We're avoiding it right now. But yeah, so the other thing that I decided to do today that I don't normally do when I stream, I'll show y'all really quick. So here's my behind the scenes view. But I've got my patio doors open, my curtains open today. Normally I close those curtains because I like to, just make sure I can control my light, but it's so beautiful outside. And even though the lighting, it makes my light a little different back in here, who cares, right? It's beautiful out there. I want to make sure I watch it. So, okay, so here's the deal. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about a topic because it's about online courses. So we're going to break it down. I'm going to talk to you about how to add extra revenue into your business with online courses. And I have personally done this, but I also want to tell you first, I want to go back. We're going to go back in time a little bit, and I'm going to share with you a little bit about how my journey kind of happened. So, if you're new here, if you're new hanging out with me, my name's Melanie. Obviously, most of you know that. But I actually, when people ask me, they say, Mel, what is it that you do? I'm always like, oh man. Really, what it boils down to is I help people with marketing. I help people put themselves out there. Now, I used to own an agency. I started my own business in 2014, and I created an agency called Addison Avenue Marketing. I named it after my little girl, right? Addie. And so I actually had the dream to build this agency that was going to essentially take over social media management for small businesses, really little businesses like the mom and pops, very small local businesses. And that was because what I was seeing at the time was this major uptick in trend in social media, right? Major changes. Social media was coming on to the scene, and it was like this awesome opportunity for businesses to use this very, very, very approachable style of marketing. And when I say approachable, what I mean is it really wasn't difficult to do it. didn't require a lot of skill, and it had a very large impact. And it was, just Facebook at the time. Facebook business pages were booming. Content marketing was coming out. Podcasts were starting to get popular. Blogging was becoming popular for businesses. But these small businesses didn't understand any of that. And they needed to be using it, but they didn't have the capacity nor the knowledge, right? And so what I saw were all these agencies, these marketing agencies, helping large companies and medium-sized companies, and they really weren't interested in those small businesses. And so I wanted to fill that gap. I've always had a heart for the small business, the mom and pop store. I love it when I go to like a town and there's those cute little stores and that the person behind the counter is also the owner, or you go to the restaurant and the person walking out to talk to you or to seat you at your table is also the owner. Like, I love those types of situations, but I also know how freaking hard those people work. They are working, they're doing everything, and they don't have time for learning something new, learning marketing. So I thought, hey, what if I went into business and started helping these people and doing social media for them? And so that is how Addison Avenue was born. And I'm going to share something with you really funny in a minute. You guys are going to love this. Those of you that have been around here for a long time might remember this, but those of you that are newer to my world, which I know a lot of you here today are newer to my world, you are going to get a real kick. This is going to be a real treat for y'all. Real treat, okay? We're going to try really hard not to just all of us die laughing, okay? So what I'm getting at here is that I started this business, and about 6 months into the business, I was just like, okay, I love what I'm doing. I validated the business before I started it. I talked to all kinds of people. They're like, oh my gosh, yes, I would love that. And the whole concept was, they don't need a full-time person. They can't afford a full-time person to hire for this. They just need someone to help them out part-time. But I didn't want to do it part-time. I needed enough clients to fill my plate to make, full-time. And so I thought, well, I'll get so many clients, fill my plate, and then we'll see where it goes, and I'll grow the business and maybe take on other types of projects, right? And so, but I started out in social media, and it was great. The interest was super high. People really wanted this service. They definitely needed the service. They saw the value in the service, but not necessarily the monetary value in the service, nor did they necessarily have the budget that I needed to validate my time and to make sure this was worthwhile. It really wasn't scalable yet. I mean, it was scalable in some forms, but really overall, it was a trading time for dollars type of business. And so I needed a certain amount of dollars per, hour to get to a place where I was like going to be able to keep food on the table, right? As a single mom and everything, that was really important. I took a lot of risks to start this business. And it became very apparent to me about 6 months in that the need was there, the desire was there, but the money was a little challenging for this demographic that I had such a heart for in helping. And I had enough issues of helping people, letting my heart lead my way, and like really just getting to the point where I was up at 3:00 in the morning, still working on projects, and just like, I'm not making enough money to be working this hard. And I was taking on things, I was doing favors, all that stuff. I mean, anybody who's been in business or started a business or has consulted or coached, you've probably had those moments too. You can probably think back to those moments. And I loved what I was doing. But I also knew that I could not keep going at this pace. And so I remember this very, very, very impactful phone conversation. I was talking to a woman local. Her husband owned a construction business, and she was working full time, but she was helping him part time, kind of trying to help him with stuff and with marketing and, some things. And she was like, we really need your help. We need a marketing strategy. We need this, we need that. She was like, I've met you in town. I've been to some of your seminars, and this and that. And she was just like, we don't have any money right now. We don't have enough money. All the money we earn has to go like into the business and pay our bills and this and that. And I'm like, oh, I totally get it. I understand. And I remember this feeling, like I'm on the phone with her, and I just remember this feeling of just like, oh, I so want to help them. I know what they need. I already have ideas flowing. Like it was all going crazy in my head already. I was like, they could do this. They could do this. They could do that. And I wanted to help so bad, but I had already had these times, these moments, these feelings of, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep saying yes and not doing it for the right amount of money. And I knew I was going to not be able to help this woman because I knew she wasn't going to be able to afford my packages. And so I remember her saying like, well, can you do this and this and this and this? And, for like $500. And I was like, no, I can't. was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I could do this for $500, but I don't think that that's necessarily how you need or want to spend your money right now. And, so I gave her a little bit of final words of wisdom and final words of advice. And I remember I got off the phone and I was just like, I felt so deflated. I felt so bad that I couldn't help this company that I wanted to help. But I also was like, man, if I could just put her in a room with like 9 other of hers, like 9 other people who have they need the same thing. Their businesses are unique, but the foundation, the frameworks, that is all the same. And if I could put them in a room together and teach them some of the frameworks, but then help them one-on-one in the room, like, quick hits, then $500 can absolutely afford all those things that she needed, but she's going to have to step in and put some sweat equity into it too and take on some of those tasks. That is where my DIYers were born, because I knew at that time my people that I wanted to help needed to be doing it themselves. They couldn't hire to outsource it completely. And quite frankly, I used to tell my clients all the time, I don't believe in you fully outsourcing your marketing. I believe you have to be involved. I've worked with people enough to know that when they are not involved, I can't do my job really very well because I'm chasing information. I'm searching for things. I'm running things down. I'm spending a lot more time than you're paying me to do to figure this stuff out for you. Whereas if you're involved, it works a lot better. And fast forward, of course, I talk a lot about you can't outsource your voice. You can't outsource yourself, right? So all of that stuff. But that is when the DIYer persona that I created for my clients was born. But it's also when the idea was born for my DIY workshops. And so in 2014 is when I had this conversation. It was the fall of 2014 when I had this conversation with this woman. And that is when I realized my clientele, they need a guide. They need a teacher. They need someone to help them, but they need to do it themselves because that's where they are in their monetary journey, their budgetary journey. Budgetary. I don't know if budgetary is a word, but today it is. All right? It is today. So I'm going to show something to you guys because it's just interesting. It's nostalgic, but it's funny. But today I want to talk to you about this concept of courses and workshops and you thinking about how you can add workshops or courses or group coaching programs into your world for either supplemental income or maybe even just to change your business model like I did, right? Because today, fast forward, I have about 2 clients left out of my old long list of amazing clients that I still do business for. And eventually I probably won't have any of those types of clients, right? I really don't have the agency anymore. I have switched. I have morphed into a whole different type of entrepreneur. But my biggest thing is that I make courses, I train people, I coach people, and it's a whole different type of business and it's a different model. But I want to talk to you about that model today because I think so often people don't think that they could do that or that they should or that their business needs it or that, well, I own a brick and mortar store. Why would I have courses? I'm going to share some stories with you. So even if you're not thinking about courses or anything at all, I actually think that everyone has a course inside of them. I actually think everyone has some sort of workshop or course or class inside of them. And it is very rewarding, but also it allows you to reach a lot of people at a very scalable way. And honestly, I remember feeling that feeling I felt. And that is the day that was born. That's the day that the whole situation of my DIYers, and of course, shout out to all y'all in my DIY marketing group, which is awesome. Lori Williams over on LinkedIn. She's watched on LinkedIn today. She's been a long time DIYer in the group. It's a free community meant for people who are in that bucket that I just described. You're doing it yourself and you're learning how to do it yourself. So I'm going to share something with you guys. I hope to God James Hicks is still watching right now because I think if anyone laughs harder about this, if anyone laughs harder than me, it's going to be James. But I want to play something for you guys because you see what I am. Stuart was, Doug was talking about earlier, he said, another afternoon with Melanie, the wizard of live streaming. So here I am. You see my fancy camera. You hear my fancy microphone. I was playing music. I got all the fancy stuff. That is not where it started, my friends. That is not where it started. And you're about to see where it started. My hair is better these days. I'm laughing because I know what I'm about to show you guys. And it is a doozy. So I hope you're ready for this. But Okay, we're going back in time. Bear with me. It's about a minute and a half long, but you're going to love it. But again, this is where it all started. This is where it started. Hey there, it's Melanie from Addison Avenue Marketing. And you may have heard that I've got a marketing workshop this Friday called Build Your Marketing Roadmap. And I've got some spots available, so I wanted to share a little bit of information with you. So I've geared this hands-on workshop towards the small business owner, the marketing manager, the entrepreneur, but really it's for anyone who's responsible for marketing. So if you've ever felt inefficient or unorganized or a bit random with your marketing, or maybe you're not even doing any marketing yet and you're ready to, then this workshop might be for you. So we're going to walk through some tools and some templates, and I'm going to coach you through your brand, your descriptions, what you should be putting on social media, your target audience, so that you can walk away with a binder that's going to let you organize your strategy and your plan. We're also going to talk about tools and resources, and you're going to be provided some that allow you to plan your marketing campaigns for the whole year and do some month-to-month operations to get the work done. We're also going to talk about how you outsource your marketing and call on some additional resources to get some things done, like website development and graphic design. So if you are in business and you're ready to get things organized and strategic, I really hope that you'll consider this workshop. So to get signed up, you want to go to my website at AddisonAvenueMarketing.com. Click on that workshops tab and you'll see all the workshops that I offer, but this one, Build Your Marketing Roadmap, is available for this Friday. So get registered today, because I'm keeping it limited, because I want this group to be very dynamic and very interactive. So let's do this. Oh, you guys. First of all, why do I look so young? Oh my God. Like, I have aged a lot, right? Woo. Oh man. Like I found that today, like earlier today, and I was like, I have to show this today. I have to play this. First of all, that was when, okay. Okay. First of all, my hair, I used to have really long hair. Okay, I had long hair for like my whole life, and then I cut my hair, and it was this weird shape for a long time. And then I decided I was like, I want to try different things. And that was during one of those phases of me trying to figure out a couple of different styles, and it was not at the prime of Mel's hair. Let's just start there, okay? And but I mean, I don't know. You guys, it's pretty fun. Don't you think it's fun? But also, that was literally, okay, I can actually pull this up. Let me pull this up. I'm going to pull the video file up, but I'm going to pause it. Ridiculous. Seriously ridiculous. Okay, let me pull this up and we'll get there. But we got to break this down. Okay, pause. Find a good, okay. There we go. Okay. First of all, this is my very first office I ever had outside of my house. So when I started my business, I started it in my house, and that's where it started. And then I got this cute little office upstairs in this amazing downtown building, and it's called the Rose Court Building in downtown Muncie, and I loved it. I mean, look at it. It's got like an atrium. There's all these little, it is the cutest. It's literally the cutest building in all of Muncie, Indiana. And I was so excited, and I had this whiteboard up on the wall that was literally just like, we went to Menards and we bought like it's not even whiteboard. It's not even made to be whiteboard. It's like some sort of paneling that actually doubles as a whiteboard. So talk about cheap, but like, I look at this video and I'm like, oh my gosh, like back in the day when I had my cute little office for the first time ever, you know? So she said, your lighting is much better than my first video. Yeah, this was like the first promotional video I made. So legit. But it was for the workshops, right? It was for my very first ever workshops. And I remember making these workshops and I was so proud. And I was just like, yeah, and we're going to make a video and we're going to do this. And it went great. So I wanted to share the video just because I thought it was fun. I thought it would be really fun for you guys to see that even if you're not getting started, and I'm going to totally pick on my buddy Alec, right? Because you look at where it was and look at where it is now, right? And when I made that video, like I recorded it on like my iPhone like 4, like my 4S or something. My tiny little iPhone. I didn't even think I had a tripod. I think I literally propped it up. I'm facing the window and I recorded it, and it probably took me 10 takes, right? As you can see, no, James says I found it. Oh my God. He probably did. He's like an investigator out there. So no, for real though. Legit, I wanted to share it with you guys because two things. This is related to today's topic because this was the first promotional video I made for my very first workshop. And there's a fast forward process, there's a fast forward, story to this, but I also wanted to share it with you guys because I thought, why not? Like, again, if you're fearful about video or you're fearful about creating content because of it needing to be perfect or whatever, this was me grabbing my phone. I don't even think I have a tripod. I literally think I propped it up against the window on boxes, and I just did it and I just recorded it, right? So I just recorded it. And so there you go. And so that's what that was. And I just wanted to share that with you so you can see the evolution, right? Because I know a lot of you are here and you like to tune in because of my live videos and whatnot, but I really wanted to share that with you because I just wanted you to see that get started now, because then the sooner you start, the sooner you get better. And by the way, the latest podcast episode, if you haven't tuned in yet, is all about this topic, right? It's all about this topic. I know that James already tuned into it, listened to it, and I want you guys to check that out. This week's podcast episode is definitely all about that topic. But today I wanted to talk to you about this journey of me evolving into these workshops and into online courses, because I started out with an agency, a service-based business. And again, I realized, hey, not all my clients are going to be able to afford these services. And so I created these workshops. And what these workshops were was I essentially put a roadmap together. I built a roadmap, I built a framework, and I put together what I knew and what I had learned and had done for myself and companies I had worked for, and gave them the trainings. But I also put together I did it in a way because I knew where their gaps were, because I had been working with them long enough. I had been hearing the stories long enough. I knew where they were getting stuck. I knew they needed training on applications that would help them design graphics. I knew they needed to learn about video so they could create their own videos, right? And so I was able to build this workshop that was this 3-series workshop. It was basically 3 half-day workshops is what they were. And they were 2 weeks apart. And oh my gosh, I remember leaving that first workshop and being like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is how I'm supposed to do it. And it made me feel so good because I now had a way to help those people who couldn't afford me one-on-one, right? They couldn't afford me one-on-one. And so I had a way to put them into a group so they could share the cost, right? Essentially. Now, the sharing of the cost is, that made it worthwhile for me to be spending my time doing this work. And I was able to make the money I needed to make for the time I needed to commit to it. What I will tell you is I made that workshop the first time, and it was a lot of work. It was a lot of hours. I remember being up till about 5 a.m. the morning of the workshop. Like I was up and I went to bed, and then I got back up and I was up until 5 a.m. and I literally laid down for like an hour to just like try to rest my eyes so I didn't look like a zombie. But I was like doing all this work up to last minute because I kept coming up with all these ideas. I kept coming up with these things I wanted to do. But what's different, what I wanted to tell you was I did the workshop the first time, and it was such a great success. It went so well, and it was such a great success, and I got such great feedback. I was like, I got to do this again. I have to do this again. And so I did the workshop again. I hosted the workshop again a few months later locally. And what was beautiful about the second time was that I didn't have to create all the stuff. I already had the stuff. I had the documents. Ooh, do I have one right here? No, I have one back there. But I still have the original binder I made for that workshop. I made a binder with all these worksheets and all these things in it. And I already had all the documents. I had all the stuff. I had the agendas. I had the outline. It was so much easier the second time I hosted this workshop. All that time and energy that went into creating it the first time was worthwhile because I did the workshop again. And then I did it again, actually. So I did the workshop 3 full times, the full 3-series big workshop, right? And then I went on to host multiple other workshops, like spotlight workshops. I did a LinkedIn workshop one time. I've done a photography workshop. I've done a social media boot camp, which was kind of like a fast pace. You're already using social media, but you need to boom it up. All these things, right? So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because these are workshops. These are in-person workshops that I did. But I remember at the time, I was learning and studying online courses because I had heard about this concept of online courses through a podcast from Amy Porterfield. And Amy Porterfield, if those of you who don't know who Amy Porterfield is, she's essentially the guru who teaches people how to create online courses. Like she's like the master at teaching online courses. She's one of the original people that actually went into and created a business to teach people how to create online course businesses. There are lots of people that do that now, but she's the original. And so I was listening to a podcast from her and I was like, oh my gosh, like I could totally take my DIY marketing workshops and convert them to online courses and I could reach even more people. That lady I talked to on the phone, that lady who's trying to help her husband's construction business while she's also working full time. That lady that I couldn't help on the phone locally, who had met me locally, which is why she called me. I could there. Do you know how many of those ladies there are in this world? It started to hit me. And I started to think, if I put it online and I create an online course, then I can help even more people, right? And maybe I can even make more money so that I can even create better tools. Maybe I can make more money so I can reinvest back in myself. Maybe I can make even more money where I'm not trading time for dollars at all anymore. I'm just helping people doing all this stuff that's amazing, right? And so I started to dream up this online course business. And that's essentially what happened. That's essentially what ended up happening is fast forward, I enrolled in Amy's program, Digital Course Academy, and actually it was technically called Courses That Convert back then. I enrolled in a program where I got that program and her Webinars That Convert program. She has now since combined it all together into Digital Course Academy. And I have that program. I've been a DCA ambassador 3 times actually, where I help students go through the program and learn, and I'm a mentor to them. And so I'm a very, very big advocate for Amy's programs. But what I wanted to share with you guys, the reason I'm sharing this with you today is because I want to talk to you about how you should consider online courses or workshops in your world and in your business. And I know that Tanya earlier said something about that she has workshops already. She says, I love this topic. I have multiple courses. And yes, my clients want parenting help and they want to do a yoga retreat, but just can't up and go to one. I made a DIY mom retreat. I think you gave me a new name for my course. Yeah. So Tanya basically met the need where they couldn't go. So she created one that they do themselves. Super cool. Exactly. Hear the needs of your clients and create this virtual version, this virtual product for them, right? And so I'm curious, I want to hear, have you ever taken an online course? Have you ever taken a course? Because you probably have in some way, shape, or form. And all of our kids have, because all of our kids are basically in online course right now. My daughter doesn't even have, she doesn't have textbooks. Everything's e-learning. Everything's in these e-modules. And so online courses are becoming very prevalent in our worlds, right? But I'm kind of curious if you've ever taken an online course. I wanted to know that first. But I wanted to tell you that when I first had this idea, I'll make these workshops. I'm going to turn them into an online course. I had the idea and I thought, I got this. I'm good. So I just listened to all of Amy's podcast episodes, basically, that I could, and binge listened to all of them. Just was studying from her, learning from her, and downloaded all her freebies that she had, which were great. And I was like, I can do this. I did it in person. I can make an online course. But an online course business is a little different than a physical business or a networking business or a local business. The whole trying to go global, going national, right? And so I finally got to the point where I said, forget it. I'm not going to try to do this myself anymore. I'm actually going to follow this process. I'm going to follow this guide. And I enrolled in her program, and now I have an online course. I have an online course. I've actually done multiple online courses now, and they've been very successful, 5 figures for each one. And so it's important that I share this with you because I think sometimes people aren't sure that it's going to work or if it's going to be worth it. And it will take time and it will take, work. But think about if you put that, like I told you about that story, when you make the course and then you promote it again, you've already done that work, right? And what's beautiful about a workshop is you're in person with people. I love being in person with people. I absolutely love being in person with people. It's my favorite thing to do, but it requires my time. My daughter is in volleyball now. My daughter's busy. I love being able to go play golf in the afternoons. I love having the freedom of my schedule. I love being with people, but I also don't want to always have to rely on being in a room with people. And so I want you to think about that too, because especially now, people are also they're not into going out anymore, unfortunately, right now. So there's that. But also, people are more used to learning online. They're getting more used to learning online now. And e-learning is becoming, honestly, part of our culture. E-learning is becoming part of it. I just, somebody I know, their kid, like one of their major like driver's ed things or something about that, it was all online. Like they didn't even have to go to a class. Like I remember going to a class and my instructor, he pronounced caution. And it took me the longest time to figure out what the heck he was talking about. I was like, oh, he's trying to say caution. It's just how he talked. He was like, proceed with caution. And like, I was like, what is caution? Like we literally went to driver's ed and had a textbook. Now they're doing this stuff online. E-learning is becoming a thing. So I'm going to give you some ideas here in a minute about supplementing and how everybody can probably consider creating something. Like I loved Tanya's example. She said, hey, I wanted to do these. They want to do yoga retreats, but they can't get out to do them. So she created a DIY do-it-yourself one. Like, what? There you go. Right? So when you think about something like, oh, you can't virtualize something like that or create an online course for it that's pre-recorded. Yes, you can. You can for just about anything. And so I am going to share something with you so you guys can get some fun stories. But I also want you guys to know that I'm partnering with Amy, right? So I have worked for Amy, actually. I've become good friends with Amy, and I'm partnering with Amy this year. And so I actually am partnering with her Digital Course Academy program. And I got to share this with you because I want you to see how awesome she is. Like, she's a fun person. And I do believe that when you learn from somebody, you need to learn from somebody that you can connect to. But I mean, she's amazing. And Amy is absolutely incredible. I've been on Amy's stage before. As I said, I worked for her. I've taken all of her programs. I've been an ambassador for her programs. And she actually, my next week's podcast episode, by the way, is an interview I did with Amy. It's going to be fantastic. And so definitely make sure you tune into that. But I'm partnering with Amy this time. And so I'm going to have an offer for you where if you take Amy's Digital Course Academy, I can offer you something as well. And so the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I definitely think that if you're going to learn how to make online courses, this is the person I want you to learn from, right? This is the person I've looked all over the place. I've looked everywhere. She's the best of the best. She is the best of the best. And so I'm going to share some resources for you that she's got. So for some of you that are thinking about some of these things, you're like, I'm not sure. I want to make sure that you know about some of those resources that are available to you so you can explore this topic. So you can get to those at melaniediane.com/Amy. If you go there, you'll see some stuff. She's got a really cool quiz that basically says, hey, take this quiz, and then she's going to give you your custom path to how you can start creating a course, right? But then she's also got this awesome thing called the Kickstarter Bootcamp. It's already in process, but it doesn't matter. It's a 30-day bootcamp. You have 30 freaking days. Like, it's fine. But she goes through these 7 key decisions, and they're going to help you actually like kickstart that journey into creating your course. And so that the link is there on that page as well for that as well. And then there's also a sneak peek. So her Digital Course Academy is a very, very in-depth program. It is like module after module after module, and it has bonuses and all kinds of things. And then the other thing that she's done right now is that she's, for a limited time, she's actually unlocking and letting you get a sneak peek into part of the course. So you literally can be like, watch a few of the lessons and be like, oh yeah, okay, she's speaking my language. This is my girl. This is what I want to do. And so you can get a sneak peek. So again, on that page, melaniediane.com/Amy, I put it in the comments for y'all. If you're on LinkedIn, you're not going to be able to see that, or in the group, but melaniediane.com/Amy, go check that out. So, I want you to like at least start to explore this, because for me, it took me some time. It took me some time to really get to the point where I was like, I'm going to make this happen. But I want you to know that I really wish I would have started sooner, to be honest with you. So, okay. I will say this. So this is awesome. So CK's got a question, and I actually was going to say, I want you guys to ask me anything about online courses. So feel free to ask me anything at all. Like, how does the business model work? How did you? I will tell you that the very first course I did, though, I didn't even like. You can actually create a course with no cost. And when I say okay, hold on, back up for a second. So there's obviously cost of, you need to have certain things, but I literally like didn't even use a platform for it. My first course, I actually, one of my bonuses that I'm including in this partnership is actually how to do just that. So your beta course. But CK says, do you have to have a course idea now, or would this be useful for those in the beginning stages? Okay, love that. In fact, some of the there are some really good resources that Amy has about coming up with course ideas. And so CK, you totally should join that bootcamp, by the way, because there's a ton of stuff in there. But so here's what's cool. Do you need a course idea now? I will tell you that I've been a DCA ambassador 3 times, as I said, because Amy, she only does this program like once a year, and sometimes she does it twice a year. I don't know what her plan is for next year, but I know that, enrollment is opening up here in a couple weeks. But it's like once you enroll and then the doors close and then you can't enroll again until she opens the doors again. But I've been a DCA ambassador 3 times. And every single time I've been a DCA ambassador, there are so many people that actually don't have their course topic identified yet. But in that boot camp, she has stuff that helps you actually come up with your course topic. So let me give you some thoughts. Let me give you some ideas about how to think about a course idea for you. Now, Billy says, it's hard to do one for me because of all the compliance stuff I have to deal with. I would have to figure what it was going to be about. Billy, I hear you. I totally hear you. I will tell you that there are so many people that do what you do that have courses. In fact, you have 2 things. You got your fitness stuff, and then you got your personal finance stuff. There are so many people in the financial world, even lawyers, people in the legal world. There's a guy, Braden Drake. He has a course, and he's a legal guy, right? He's got a course. I mean, talk about compliance and like one-off situations. There's my friend Jamie Troll. She's got a course about finance. There's a woman, Lori Bodish. She has a course about investing, right? You're helping people do investments. Think about it this way, Billy. I got an idea for you in CK. I'm gonna talk to you too, right? I'm gonna talk to you too. And so here's one of the ideas that I want you to think about, a prerequisite to prepare them for your service. So Billy, you could create a course, for example, if we're talking about investing, you could create a course that actually educates people on the different types of investing. So I actually was just talking to a friend. She literally is a personal finance, she's like a wealth advisor. She's going to create a course about cryptocurrency and how to get started with like trading, like self DIY trading, because that's becoming very popular. And here's why she's doing this. She's doing this because people are coming to her. They're not quite ready for her level of service yet because they're just getting started. So she's created a course to help those people that are just getting started. She's like, the course is about how to get started so that when they get to a point where they're, hey, now I've got this. Now I'm ready for you, Miss Expert, to take it to the next level. They're ready. They're trained. They're primed. They're pumped. They're ready to go because her course is handling this. So that is actually one of the ideas is, do you ever have situations where people need they need basic training and your stuff that you do is more advanced? And if that's the case, you could create a course that's taking care of the basic stuff because you're like, it's just not quite worth my time. I really need to work with these people at this caliber. So they need to grow a little bit first. They need the baby course first. Well, create the prerequisite course, and so that they can take the course. It's scalable for you. You create the course, you sell it, or you have it available all the time, and you say, hey, you know what? You're not quite ready for this package yet, but I've got this program for you that you can take, and then you'll be ready. Once you take that program, go through it, do this, then let's have a conversation again in about 6 months. And you already recorded it, you made it, and now you just sold something. You're still making money. You're not pushing those people. And here's the other beautiful part about this. They're staying in your world. You're not pushing them away, or then they're now going to go find somebody else to get help from. They're in your world. These are called feeder programs, right? I was just talking to a CPA about 3 months ago, and in his business, he really wants to work with the small businesses because he wants their business when they retire. So he's helping them here, even though it's not lucrative, it doesn't make him any money. But the reason he does it is because down the road, he's going to make more money. So, but I'm like, okay, but that's a really long lifespan of that ROI. The ROI has a really long lifespan. He's like, I know it's a risk I take. And he says, this makes just enough money. He's like, it's a real pain in my butt. He's like, and I don't enjoy it. And he's like, this and that. He's like, but the few clients that come out of there, they make it worth it. And I'm like, well, that's great. So what he was doing at the time is he was looking to hire and to kind of, but I was like, can you make a program for them? Like, can you make a way? Can you make a systematic way? So think about that. There's always something that probably somebody has that's a prerequisite, right? That they need from you. So that's one idea, right? Okay. Let me check on you guys really fast in the comments. So Billy's on the other end. He says, I'm on the other end. I help people get started. Okay, that's totally fine, right? That's totally fine. But I know that there's something there. I know that there's something there, Billy, that you can turn into a cycle. Now, Billy, one of the pages let me open this page up, actually, so you guys can see this page with these links on it, so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the link. So if you go to melaniediane.com/Amy, okay, this is me saying, yo, I think it's time for you to explore it. But these links right here, okay, one of the links is this one. And this is actually a link of just story after story after story of these people. And here's what's so fun. I know so many of these people. Literally, I know so many of these people. In fact, the one that was on the screen before, Emily Reagan, she built a business where she teaches women how to become VAs, right? So there's so many things here. This is my friend Anne LaFollette. She got laid off at 55 from a big retailer and was like, what am I going to do now? And she literally is killing it with her online course business. She's the sweetest woman in the world. There is that too. But she's the sweetest woman in the world. But she, here's the deal. She actually she taught herself a skill. She taught herself how to design patterns and things. And then what she decided to do, she just did it because she wanted to learn a skill. It's a hobby. It had nothing to do with what her corporate background was in. And then she created courses and she teaches people how to do that. Now she teaches people how to do this little hobby that she has. So I also want you to think about it this way. Your course doesn't have to actually have anything to do with your current business. You could actually have a side hustle course. So maybe you've got something else that you're passionate about on the side. CK, you said, do I need a topic yet? CK, what are you passionate about? Are there things you're passionate about? Are there things that you've learned how to do that you could teach somebody else how to do? For example, this woman, I got to find her. Is she in here? She's in here. She's in here somewhere. I can tell you that. Navigate this page because I will tell you there's a woman. Let me find her. She's the best. She's like one of the best ones. Industry. By the way, this is what's so cool about it is you can literally, it's going to be in food. She's going to be in food. Danira, wherever she is, there she is. Danira, right here. Danira literally used to do she used to bake stuff for her friends and family. And she had so many people finally, they were like asking her, teach me how to do that. Teach me how to do that. So she started doing workshops, kind of like me. She started doing these little local workshops and she was charging they were very inexpensive. And she decided to turn it into an online course and she made $62,000 freaking dollars for a course about, look at this, how to make caramel apples. A course, look at me, how to make caramel apples. You know what I'm talking about, right? The caramel apples. She made a course, how to make caramel apples, and her first launch, she made $62,000. I still to this day, I'm like, what? And I remember when I met her one time, I was just like, this is has to be life-changing. She's like, yeah, I got out of a toxic relationship who didn't support me. I now am able to support other women. I'm able to help other women. It's life-changing. And her next launch, by the way, she doubled. Caramel apples. She made a course about how to make caramel apples. So again, let's talk about how you can make a course about just about anything, right? I'm looking at you. Yeah, it is insane, right? It is insane. Okay, so Caleb says, that idea of a prerequisite course is what I need. I've done deep research on a subject and it's often over my audience's head, but a prerequisite course would help a bunch. Yeah. So literally, Tanya says, Mel, make a golfing course. Tanner wants me to golf with him. Here's what's really funny, you guys. I actually thought about, just for fun, making a course about fishing. Hey, and for women, because I think women are scared to tackle it. Tackle it. I literally mean tackle box pun, whatever. I've thought about it. What are some fun courses I could make? I literally think that it's going to happen. So Tanya, I may make a golf course, although I'm still learning to play. I mean, golf, I don't know. I don't want to teach golf. I just want to go out there and play it. But it's seriously, you can make a course out of anything. So literally anything at all. So Caleb says, I actually made a video series, 12 videos with similar topics. I'm having trouble with it though. well, I'm not sure what you mean by that totally, Caleb, but here's the thing. You may even already have a course inside of you. So if you're already creating content, if you're already online, you're already pushing stuff out there, you're already making podcasts, already making videos, you actually may already have a course inside of you. You may even have a course in that content. It's just about how you put the process together. And that's exactly what Amy's program does. That's what her program does. So again, doors are not open yet for her program. But the reason I wanted to share this page with you is because if you're looking for inspiration on your industry, okay, again, you can literally look by industry. So you can go over here to industry and you can find it. If you're a coach, a consultant, finance and real estate, Billy, there you go, right? Finance and real estate, here are 12 stories for you to get some inspiration from. There's my girl, Jamie Troll. That's who I talked about earlier, right? Here you go. I mean, you can find, there's Braden right there, okay? These people, here's the next doctor, right? I mean, there's so many amazing stories in here. They all are related. So you can search by all these different things. Successful moms, Tanya, right? There you go. So go in here. It's pulling in all. The reason I wanted to share this page with you, so go to the link go to this page, MelanieDiane.com/Amy, and then you'll see it right here. Get inspired by these amazing course creators. There's so many great stories. And I'm telling you, these are legit stories. I know these people. I am friends with some of these people, and I'm always inspired by them. I'm always in awe by them. I really am. Get inspired by these amazing course creators is the link I want you to check out. But also that bootcamp link is here as well. And then here's a quiz. So if some of you are kind of like, ooh, I'm not really sure where I would even start, or where do I start figuring this out? She's going to give you a quiz. It's going to give you some actionable items so that you can figure out your path. And she'll tell you if it's not the right fit for you right now. And that's what's cool about that quiz. And then right now you can get a sneak peek at her program for a limited time. This goes down, I think, next week. So definitely make sure that you're aware of that. But next week, I also want you guys to know I am going to be publishing the video interview I did with Amy. So you'll hear we talked about you guys. We talked about you guys, literally, and about people how do they come up with an idea? Where do they start? What's something that holds people back from creating a course, right? And so, what if somebody has a brick and mortar business already and they want to just add a course to their business? We talked about that. So that video is coming out next week as well. And so I definitely want you guys to be in tune and be ready for that video for sure. Okay, so I talked about a side hustle course. So what's another one? Oh, John, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Okay, let me see. TK says, don't you just dip them in caramel? Honestly, no. Here's the thing. There is a perfect caramel apple, and then there are imperfect caramel apples, and her apple is like perfected. Like, it's such an amazing story. It's absolutely incredible. It's actually incredible. Okay, love it. Okay, CK says that's actually one of my ideas. Outdoor sports for women, hunting, fishing, golfing. CK, create that freaking course, because think about how many women. Here's the deal. Here's what's cool about a course. All right, so here's what's really cool about a course. First of all, I could just in this specific example, women want to learn from women a lot of times. Women especially want to learn from women when it's an area where we feel vulnerable. And when it comes to things like previously male-dominated areas like hunting and fishing and sports, right? Then we especially want to look up to a woman and learn from a woman because it feels more comfortable. And so honestly, the other thing that happens is there's probably a lot of women out there whose husbands are into hunting or fishing, and they want to be involved. They want that connection with them, or they want to learn, and they don't want to ask their husband to help, or they're vulnerable, or they feel fearful. When you create a course, somebody can learn that in their own time, in their own secret, because maybe they're afraid that they aren't going to be able to be good at it on the other end. So they're like, oh, I don't want to sign up for this in person. It feels too committed. A course is much more approachable. A course is a lot simpler for somebody to grasp when they want to do something that feels a little bit weird like that. And so I actually think that you could totally create a business around this and you could be very successful. I think there are a lot of women who actually want to learn how to do these things that have nobody to teach them in their world, right? And not everybody's going to go DIY it like I did, like go watch YouTube videos like crazy and just get out there and do it. I'm still lost on some of it, right? The only reason I got into hunting is because my boyfriend knew what he was doing and his dad, and I got into it and I got very significant beginner's luck with that, right? So I do think there's a need for that, right? And so I love that course idea. Is it caramel or is it caramel? Well, it's caramel, I believe. Caramel is caramel, Carmel. But caramel, there's actually, so here's what's crazy. So Danira one time, I think she was on a live stream with Amy one time, and she was actually talking about the difference between caramel and caramel. That's the only reason I know that. So Danira is literally like famous in my mind because of her success making that course. So again, it just goes back to, you can really make a course about just about anything. And so I definitely think that that's something I want to share that with you guys. So check out that page for those resources that are there. I wanted to share that with you guys so that you could check it out. Okay. Angela says she's purchased courses, but only finished a few because I don't have a business to apply it to. I'm a medical massage therapist and I really can't take that online. Got it. Yeah. Well, here's what's crazy is, there's clinical stuff, right? There's certain things that you probably need to be in a different situation for. But here's a concept. So not necessarily that this is what Angela's trying to do. So another example of a type of course is you can actually teach someone how to be successful at what you do. And so not necessarily the skill set, but like, for example, there's a woman I met at the very first Amy Porterfield event that I went to. Her business, she used to be a salon owner, and she owned a salon and was very successful. She decided to create a course for other salon owners about how to run the salon business, not how to cut hair. No. Not how to cut hair, not how to do those things, but how to run a successful salon business. And she has a very successful online course business, online program business. And here's the other thing that I want to say is, some programs are courses where it's videos and they start and they stop and it's a course. Other programs supplement with support, right? So my program, for example, is a combination. My live video bootcamp is a online course, right? It's an online course where it teaches you how to get started and how to up-level your videos and how to excel into videos and create a live video strategy, all that stuff. That's a course, right? And then there's a program, there's a 6-week group coaching component that goes with it. And so as you take the courses, you get to ask questions. You get support from me. You get to ask me questions. You come into a group component, a group coaching component. It's like a little mastermind. You don't have to do that, but there's all kinds of ways to enrich your program. So if you're saying to yourself, well, it's really hard for someone to watch videos and to do what I do. So Billy, for example, you could create a course that covers the basics, but then you could create a private Facebook group, and everyone that enrolls in the course, they go into the private Facebook group, and every Monday you do a live Q&A with Billy, and they get to ask their specific, unique questions that are very specific, and you can give them your unique advice back. So that is actually one of the ways you can, if you need that personal touch, you can still do that personal touch. And here's what's cool. If they don't have a question, they don't have a question. If they don't ask a question, that's on them. But a lot of times what happens is one person asks a question, and there are like 3 other people like, oh, that was the question I had. Awesome. So you don't think of it as, well, I can't really help people because they can't just watch videos and that's it. I need to talk to them. I need to be interactive with them. You still can. You could do Zoom calls with them. You can have a one-on-one component to it if you want. There are programs like that. My friend Heather Sager, she has an awesome program. She's a speaking coach. Her program is an online course it's called Speak Up to Level Up. And she teaches people how to develop their messages, to become keynote speakers, to, get good at speaking on stages and all those things. But then she also, in that program, it's a premium program. Every once a week, I think it's once a week or maybe it's once a month, she has a one-on-one call with those people that are enrolled in that program. A one-on-one call with them. So you can still have this supplemental source, right? To add that, to go into it. And so I like the idea of the course that literally supports coaching and training. And so the course is just supporting it. So for example, sometimes people have courses where they teach people the basics of how to do something, but then they need interaction about their consulting. Well, the course is, again, taking care of that piece, but then the consulting is, okay, here's how we dial it in for you uniquely. And so I do think that there are a lot of scenarios where that fits too. So you can do memberships. You can have the course be where you sell the course and then people go into like an alumni group and everybody in that group is essentially like a member for life and all of them have taken the course. So the basic, the expectation is take the course and then get support from me. And then, then you can use that group to pitch something maybe even more premium, like a VIP component or an actual coaching package if you want to do one-on-one coaching. Again, that prerequisite, I love the prerequisite piece because I know a lot of coaches and consultants who are like, I get a lot of people that come to me and they do not have the fundamentals down yet. They're not ready for my work. They're not ready for my level of service. They need to do these things first. They have homework to do. And I'm like, well, great. Well, how do you help them with their homework? You could create a course that teaches them how to do that prerequisite stuff. So definitely wanted to talk about that for sure. Something I wanted to mention, oh God, sorry. Something else I wanted to mention is that courses can be pre-recorded or taught live. They can be taught live or pre-recorded. And so a lot of times I think that sometimes people say, oh, do I have to be really good at making videos and blah, 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 and making all these fancy things? No, you do not. You do not have to. In fact, my very first course that I did it all live. I did everything live. My very first online course, I literally did live videos. I taught the content live, and then I downloaded that live video, and then I made that live video available to them as a replay after the fact. So in case somebody couldn't tune in live, they were able to watch the replay. I did this for 2 reasons. The 2 reasons I did it was because it was a beta launch. It was a beta course. And you learn about all this stuff in Digital Course Academy, by the way. Like everything I'm talking about, you learn all this stuff in Digital Course Academy. But the beta course was so that I could kind of have this tester group. It was like a founding launch. And I didn't want to pre-record all the videos because I kind of wanted to see how they did with the content, so I could massage the content and really cater to them as they went through. And so I did it live. And then I was able to record those things. Here's what's crazy. I could have totally just kept those recordings and just used those and relaunched it again. I know so many people who have done that. They have done live teachings and then they just download those recordings, they upload them into a learning management system, and then they make the course available and they don't re-record them. They don't make them fancy. They don't do anything special with them. And they're very successful, very successful. And so you can actually teach it live, so you can do a virtual version, like a virtual workshop style, or you can pre-record the videos. Personally, I love the idea of you starting out just teaching it live because you get that interaction and you will know where they're stuck. So I was able to be like, about the second weekend, I was like, ooh, the third week was going to be about this, but they need this. They're asking all these questions about this and this and this. So I'll go ahead and tweak and I'll make the third week about this instead. And I was able to really cater to them because I was able to really, in the moment, understand the way they were consuming the content and the way they were learning. And so that's why I like doing the live version. And then what I did is I went back and I tweaked everything, and then I made the pre-recorded version. And so I put all that work into it. And so just like that story I told you before about the very first in-person workshop I did, it was a lot of work up front to make that first version, but now that course is there and it's still good to go. And if something needs updated, I can redo one of the lessons. No big deal, right? If something changes in the world of tech or something, I can redo one of those lessons. I can make an update to it. But I have that foundational course. And now it's a matter of just marketing yourself and relaunching, right? And that is definitely the philosophy that Amy believes in for sure. So I love it. So Tanya says, I'm from Massachusetts and we always said caramel. They're 2 different things though. That's what's crazy. And I never knew that. So there is literally caramel spelled like Caramel. And then there's caramel, Carmel. And I think the caramel is when the sugar is mixed with the caramel. There's something that caramel is different than caramel. I just know that. I think it's sugar gets mixed with the caramel, and then that's what makes it caramel. That's what I know. So there you go. Learned something new today, right? Okay, so, all right. So that is what I wanted to talk about. Now, the thing that we talked about, online courses. So there's a course strategy of a course that supports your coaching and training. So something that goes along with what you do. So maybe, for example, you are a dietitian or a wellness coach or somebody who's helping people eat healthy, right? And your services are about that coaching of the diet, right? You can create a course that teaches them the basics in the kitchen about how to cook certain healthy things, or you can create a course that's like, here's 12 weeks of exercise routines. And that supplements your coaching and training, right? So you're not teaching the fitness class. They're watching the fitness class and doing it themselves. And then you're showing up for consulting them and coaching them, right? So there's that example. We talked about the prerequisite course, which prepares them for something that maybe your service, which maybe they're not ready for yet. And so, training them how to do something first so that they can then be ready for your program, whatever that might be, your service, whatever. So this is actually really great for, like I talked about with financial advisors. There's certain people that aren't ready for their level of service yet. So they got to do some things first. So the course teaches them how to do that. And then another one is a course to teach others what you do. So you literally, the caramel apple story is a perfect example, right? So you have perfected these perfect cookies, and you're selling these cookies, and now it's like you can only make so many cookies because you only have so much time. So instead of making cookies and selling them, teach people how to make these cookies themselves at home, right? That special decorating, special kind of cookie that you make. Teach them how to make it at home so that they can make their own cookies instead of ordering them from you. Right? Because again, you only have so much time to make so many cookies, so you can only sell so many cookies. Your inventory is your time, right? So teach them to do what you do. The Anne LaFollette story, she learned how to make these pattern designs. And so she now has a very successful online course business teaching women people how to design these patterns, right? So there's that. A course, a course to support your business. So we talked about coaching and training, but is there a course idea that you can have that supports your current business? So let's say you own a clothing store, a clothing boutique, or a paint store, or a hobby store, a brick and mortar store where you sell supplies. Create a course that actually teaches them how to use those things, right? Create a course that teaches them how to paint, how to, create a little workshop for them so that when they buy your supplies, now they have a way to go use them and learn how to apply them, right? So create a course that supports your current business. And then we talked about side hustle courses too. So if you have a full-time job right now and you've got a hobby over here, or there's something you're like, man, I'm really passionate about, like the cookies. Let's say the cookies. You're making cookies on the side but you still have a full-time job, and you're just doing it as a side hustle. Well, you can actually take that and you could do a side hustle course business too. Same thing. You don't have to quit your 9-to-5 job. You don't have to go all in on courses to do this. You can actually do it as a side hustle at first, dabble in it, see how you like it, get some success, build it up, and then heck, maybe you will go full-time with it, right? So do it. These are great for hobbies or existing side hustles, things like that. And then the last thing I said was, courses can be taught live or they can be pre-recorded. I definitely love the idea of you starting out live using live video. And again, my bonus that will be included if you enroll through Digital Course Academy through me. So if you use any of those links, by the way, then you're going to be automatically attached to me. Those are just links that are attached to me. You can totally say you don't want to enroll through me if you don't want to. There's a process for that. But if you enroll through me, and you'll have other opportunities as we get closer to when the cart opens to do that, I will be providing you with a bonus. So the people who enroll through me are going to get a bonus that nobody else gets. And one of those bonuses is exactly how to create your very first course just doing it live. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to do it, what you'll need to do. And it's the most budget-friendly way to get started creating an online course. So that's one of the bonuses that's going to be included in my package. So for sure, I wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys. So we all need to learn how to properly make caramel apples. We all need to also learn how to say it, I think, too, maybe. But John says, look it up on Google. You might be surprised. I will have to do that for sure. Oracle Spirit Wellness says, I'll have to do some brainstorming. I have a subscription box for spiritual women. So love the idea, by the way, of a online course business that actually supplements your box. So I know that subscription boxes are so cool, but your course could literally just be, hey, you subscribe to the box, right? You have the box. But for an upgrade price of X, you can also get monthly trainings. Maybe the trainings are how to apply, these things in the box, right? The monthly trainings could be you walking them through certain ways to develop themselves, right? So you can actually still have your subscription box business, but then you could create a course business where if they upgrade to the VIP subscription, they also get that digital subscription too of these online programs as well. So there's that as well. So there's your quick idea for me, Oracle Spirit Wellness for sure. So, all right, my friends. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. If you missed the beginning of this stream, you definitely need to go back because I shared one of my very first promotional videos that I ever made. And it is like, You know you're aging when you watch something and you're like, why do I look so young? I look like a little kid, I feel like, in that thing. But really bad hair, really funny, very scrappy style video, no fancy anything, just a phone and a window. That's all it was. So, but I was promoting my very first workshop, which brought me into the journey of creating online courses. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I wanted to just share some of those insights with you, but also give you a quick heads up that I am partnering with Amy Porterfield this year with her Digital Course Academy program. And I'm going to be able to offer you a very cool bonus package, definitely some fun stuff. More to come on that for sure. So definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not already so that you don't miss a beat. Also, next week I'll be sharing a video, that interview that I did with Amy, where we're going to be talking about this, and that'll be aired on the podcast as well. So the DIY Marketing School podcast, if you're not already subscribed. Typical Tyreek, hello, welcome to the stream. We're getting ready to sign off here, so check out the replay. You'll see that original promo video that I shared in the beginning of the stream. So, all right, my friends, I will see you guys next week on Tuesday at 2:00 Eastern time. Until then, definitely have an awesome day and appreciate all of you. Thanks.